Welcome guys, and thank you so much for joining me here in this space. Today I'm sharing with you a class that I call Balance. So this is about instilling balance by harnessing focus and concentration in the mental space, and then really delivering that to your physical domain. So in turn, working to improve your overall strength and level of control over the physical body. And by doing this, you then really open a gateway to accessing more healthier and more improved mobility. And that's purely through your participation, just by getting your body to work with balancings and then addressing the mental space and what's going on with focus and concentration. So we're going to get started here in a supine position, and I'm going to be guiding you through some alternating and double knee hugs and lifts. And in this way, we're just tapping into that level of physical movement, but also the mental control. So working to switch the brain on to deliver that to the body a little bit better. So in any way that you feel comfortable, coming to recline the body down. So I like to roll the chin down to the chest from a bent knee approach, ease the spine down part by part, and then allow that to elongate into the neck and into the head. So for these knee hugs and lifts, you're going to be starting off with the knees separated apart and bent, and then we're going to have the arms nice and easy down beside the body, lengthening away from the shoulders. So we're going to kick things off with an upright lift of your left knee and then your right arm and hand. So we're going to go ahead and bend the left knee in towards your chest, flexing through the foot and then extending that leg up towards the ceiling. Lengthening here from your hip right the way through to your heel, and then drawing your toes back towards your face. As you hold that, right arm is going to extend initially up towards the ceiling, anchor down here through the shoulder, and then just see if you can send the back of your hand towards the floor behind you. If it does come quite far back, try not to lax the arm. You want to keep it nice and lengthened and really active the whole way through. We'll take a nice deep inhale here to lengthen that a little bit more, and then as you exhale, just simply arrive back to center. So now you're a little more familiar with the movement and what to do. We'll swap it over. Right knee bending in, extending then up through the heel, flexing the foot, left arm, so opposite side, extending upward, anchor down through the shoulder, and then send the arm back behind you. And just see if this arm feels a little different. So if your body is telling you that coming all the way back is a little bit too far, or if it is painful, ease off to the place where you can still direct length, but of course holding without any pain. Mild discomfort as you're working to lengthen out some tension is absolutely fine, but anything that catches you with the breath or makes you sort of wince in pain is a message for you to come back a little bit further away from the stretch. Nice big breath in here to lengthen, and then exhale to arrive back to center. We're going to work double now, so bending both knees in and then extending up towards the ceiling. Let your feet be slightly apart here, so you're working each leg individually, but in the same way lengthening up through both sides and drawing the toes down towards your face. Both arms lengthening up, anchor down through the shoulders, activate your fingers, so keep them lengthened as well, and then send the arms back behind you. When you've got that lovely stretch happening, breathe in to lengthen further. Your core here is really active and switched on, drawing the lower spine down towards the floor, and then exhaling as you arrive back into center. I'm going to synchronize that now with your breath. So inhale, lengthen your left leg and right arm, reaching back behind you. Take another breath out and a breath in here. And then exhaling to arrive back to center. Inhaling, right leg and left arm, reaching away. There's an exhale before you enjoy another deep inhale to lengthen. And that second exhale to arrive back into center. Inhaling, lift. Both arms, both legs now. You're exhaling to hold. Inhaling to extend that a little bit more. Beautiful. Exhale, arrive back to center. From here, you can lift your knees now to your chest.
hug them in nice and close and just soften the belly as you circle your knees around. So just massaging now into the abdominal region, switching on those internal organs, but also providing a nice massage into the back body. A few times in one direction and then starting to unravel in the opposite way, unwinding any tension you can find. Nice and soft with the elbows. Good. So simply from here now you're going to take a pause. Choose a side that you would like to roll over onto. The side that you're rolling onto, raise that arm up and back, ease yourself over and use your other hand to support you and lifting all the way up. Going to straight away here swing your legs back behind your body, coming over into your tabletop position. We'll do a couple of rounds here in tabletop, working your Majarasana cat-cow flow, just to lubricate into the spine and the back. And then we're going to flow into our tabletop balance. So splitting out through the fingers here, easing apart with your knees. Take a nice big breath in, lifting here through the tailbone and chin. And then a nice big breath out, rolling in and under. Inhaling as you smoothly lift all the way up. And exhaling, rolling the body over and under. We'll do two more just like that. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last round, just nice and steady in your timing. Beautiful. After that final round, just come back into your neutral tabletop here. We're going to tuck both sets of the toes under, so starting to switch on the feet a little bit more, and then starting to activate into your core muscles, so into that abdominal region again. Think about that area turning on like a flame, so you want the fire to be at the center of your body, and that's where we're going to generate not only some warmth and heat, but energy and power, that beautiful strength. So from that area, feel that you can extend now back through your left leg. Keep the foot nice and flexed here, so that's going to keep the larger muscles of your legs really switched on to support you and to keep you nice and steady. With that power still on at the core, we're going to have a go at reaching opposite arm out in front. So that's your right arm extending forward, but your left leg extending backward. Now using the time that you have here to focus then in on your breathing. And this is where that focus and concentration of the mental space really helps to direct the effectiveness in your physical body better. So bring the attention back to your breathing and see what is happening in your body physically and whether the breath can calm you down and improve the steadiness and improve the focus, that sense of control. On your next breath out, we're going to slowly arrive mindfully back into center, retuck both sets of toes under and swap this over. So right leg reaching back now, still flexing through the foot, left arm extending forward and away. Ideally you want your arm to be in line with your shoulder, your leg in line with your hip, but you don't want to have to look back at your leg to see what it's doing. So it might be a little lower than the hip, but you don't want it to be higher, placing pressure on your lower back. So you just want to be in a place where you feel the leg is working strong for you, it feels supported but active. Core is able to switch on, protecting your back and spine, and you've got that soaring of power extending up through your left arm. Breathe. You might be gazing forward or slightly downward here. Jaw relaxed, bring the focus in. On your next exhalation, arriving back into center. Take a big breath in through your nose and then breathe out through your mouth, letting go any tension. Going to repeat that through here. Left leg reaching on back, right arm reaching forward. If both elements of this is a bit too much, you can adjust this. Of course, this is your practice. You might have your fingertips down to the floor or hand back into center, or it might be the toes touching down. So you can adjust this to work for you. If, however, you are here and all feels good and you want to take it a little bit further, we can then sway with steadiness, the foot out to the side and the arm out to the opposite side. Breathing, but nothing changes in your core. You're not twisting through the center. You're just guiding those limbs away. Slowly draw back. Think about lengthening that a little bit further and then arrive back into center. Mindful action to swap this over. Breathing, option there to sway. Apply the steadiness. Focus and control. Power at the belly as you draw back and arrive back into center. Big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, letting it go. So to take some of the pressure now out of your hands, going to separate your knees nice and wide to your mat distance apart. Step the feet a little closer together and retuck them under. And here we're going to have a play at a modified version of Malasana, so a squat position. Going to step the hands back in towards your body here, so you're starting to stack up a little bit more on the feet. For many people that is enough, so working quite intensely to stretch out the feet. If this is okay, the option is there to lift, but only if that is working kindly with your body. So if that is not for you today, please by all means keep your knees to the floor and work your hands forward as far as they need to go to take the pressure off. If all is good here, we're going to add a little sway from side to side, just to loosen up into the balls of the feet, get them nice and comfortable. And if there is no pre-existing pain in that area, this is a really great way to prevent injury in the feet, but also to make you mindful of them. So your feet do so much for you, so giving them a really good stretch out and bringing the warmth and energy into those muscles. Now, if all is good here, feel free to allow your forearms to lightly rest upon your thighs. Zone in that mental concentration, so you might find one spot along the floor just to gaze upon. Keep the eyes blinking, body breathing. Hands might come together and perhaps you then can raise off your thighs, lengthening the spine further upward. Keeping the face soft. Body relaxed as you stretch out the feet. One more deep breath in and out here. Beautiful, and then allow your hands to simply find the floor again. We're going to adjust here for Uttanasana, your standing fold. So to do that, bring your hands and arms to the outside of your thighs or knees. Allow your balls of the feet to adjust so that your toes are now pointing forward. And then simply roll your head forward as you straighten the legs a little here, adjusting yourself into your forward fold. Now you're wanting to still have a little bend of the knees here, but give yourself some time to feel that you can just release fully down with the torso, rolling your chin down through towards your chest and giving your back a really nice stretch out. Now the work that you've just done in your feet, if you're feeling like the feet want to relax and roll in, just direct the arches of the feet to lift a little here, anchor down through your big toes and outer pinky toes, and then back to the heels. Still switching on the feet. And with every breath you might be straightening the legs more and more, but if that's a bit too much to start with, just keeping that little bend in your knees. Now in a moment here, I'm going to direct you into a slight balance from your forward fold. So just be mindful that there is nothing directly back behind you that you're going to kick into. Now from here, we're just going to simply place the hands a little closer towards the left foot. So they might just be dangling towards the left foot. They might be in the air. If they are hovering, feel free to grab hold of your calf or your shin for a little bit of stability. But if they are coming to the floor or the fingertips to the floor with ease, that's absolutely fine to hold that there. Going to have a go at bringing the weight of your body into this left foot and therefore charging up more through the left leg and into the left buttock. Lightness then comes into the right side, perhaps lifting the heel. If the heel is uncomfortable, you might want to have a go at lifting the toes. If all is good, feel that you can hover the foot a little behind you, perhaps bend the knee, maybe take one hand off the floor. The option is there to remove the other. Give yourself a few breaths here to create the steadiness. Then if the hands have lifted, return them down slowly, replace the foot to the floor and balance out again through both sides, letting go into your fold. A few breaths. And then simply guiding your hands a little more to the right side. Starting to lean into that side, bringing lightness throughout the left. Option is there to lift the foot back behind you, bend the knee. Take one hand or both hands off the floor. Might get a little shaky initially, but that's when you start to breathe and focus in a little bit further. Bringing as much steadiness as possible into the movement. After your next breath out, one hand followed by the other to the floor. Allow the foot to come back to center. Return to your fold, letting go for a few breaths. Beautiful work. We're going to ever so gently now start to roll up. So coming up through the spine, part by part, all the way into the neck, and lastly into the head, taking your time. So here, just shake it out a little bit, feel nice and loose again through the body. Now in the upright position, we're going to work some more balance elements through the rocking and rolling of our feet. So that's the reason why we charge them up so intensely along the floor. And then we're going to work our way into our upright knee hugs and ultimately Nadarajasana, which is your dancer pose. Now, dancer doesn't have to mean that you are perfectly holding the position. You might come to the wall space, have a hand against a wall to get steady. Use whatever you need around you to support you in the balance, and then ultimately over time coming away to hold it without those supports. So just being again kind to your body. So it might feel a little fast going through this, so please feel free to have a play, pause the video as much as you need to, spend as much time lingering in the balance as you wish to, and then of course proceeding from there. So to start with though, we're going to have the feet separated slightly. Similar sort of stance as your Tadasana mountain, but just with a little more spacing. Your hands here, however, are going to interlace, and I'm going to guide you into a sequence known as palm tree. So palm tree is where we're going to be igniting the energy from the feet up through the spine and sending it towards the crown of the head. What we do when we come into this is we actually physically tap the crown of the head. You don't want to sort of feel like you're smacking or hitting yourself in the head, but it is a directive tap to the crown, guiding that energy to shoot up towards the back of your hand. So we'll bring those balance elements in as well. So to do this, you're simply here turning the palms through and then raising the arms up towards the ceiling, extending already, creating that beautiful length up through the body, up towards the backs of the hands. Find a focal point out in front here, something that you can really zone in on. Breathe, and then see if you can gain the lift of your heels here. So lifting up nice and steady, still with that length up through the body and through the arms. As you're breathing away, we're going to slowly bend the elbows outward, guiding the backs of the hands to press with intensity to the top of the head. But of course, we're not rushing that, we're not hitting into the head, we're not causing pain. Just a firm pressure to direct the energy upward. Again, zone in on your breathing, zone in on your focal point to create as much control and as much level of steadiness and concentration as possible. Re-extend the arms, guide the heels down, turn the palms over, and arrive back into center. So I'm going to guide you into that again. We'll do a second round. If that first round you felt really shaky, this is when I would advise one hand to the wall. Still you can gain the lift of the heels, hand coming up, and then using the back of one hand to apply the pressure. So please feel free to do that at any stage if you need to, rather than holding your breath and causing any level of tension to be increased as you work the balance. So second round coming into it. Turn the palms through, extending tall, gain the length and the lift. Find your focal point, add the balance elements in, breathe, get nice and calm, get cozy here, and then apply the pressure with control. Beautiful, re-extend. Guide the heels down, turn the palms over to release. Going to keep the hands as they are now, still with your focal point out in front. Shift your body weight into your left foot and leg. Start to bend here, your right knee forward, balancing initially on the tip of your big toe. Gain the strength again at your core, the length still up through the spine, and just see if you can lift the right knee into your upright knee hug here, flexing through the foot. The leg to the floor is nice and strong here. With every breath, that knee might be floating up a little bit higher, but you're not trying to pull on it. Guiding gently. Slow and control on the release. We're going to swap this over to the other side, so you shift the weight of your body into the right foot and leg now. Bending left knee forward. Initially balancing on the big toe here, nice and light. Observe what you need to call upon with your foundation leg, so with that right foot and leg to keep you steady, to keep you strong. Breathe. It's as much as a mental exercise as it is a physical one here. The mind and body coming together to create that balance, not only just in the physical world, but in the mental space as well. Beautiful. Slowly release. Now here we're going to again return to the opposite side, but add in the option of Natarajasana, your dancer. So we start off with our knee hug. Get steady, get comfortable. The option now is to keep your knee where it is, but allow your left arm to float upward towards the ceiling, lengthening tall. If all is good here, you're going to slide your right hand down towards your ankle or lower shin. Tilt your knee forward and down as if it's going to come to meet or hug the opposite knee. This might be dancer for you today, so if this is enough, please stay here. If you want to progress further, you're going to hinge from your hips, guiding right knee backward and left arm forward, but without a rush. Slow and steady on the return. Observe if you can come back to your knee hug. Still breathing. And then arriving back into center, swapping it over. Weight is in the right foot and leg. Lightness in the left side, knee hug. Wall space is there if you need it. Next step is to extend right arm tall. Slide your left hand down, lower shin or ankle, grip hold. Tilt the knee forward to meet the opposite knee. Get steady. Breathing into your dancer. Slow and steady on the return. Observing if you can reapply that knee hug one last time. Arrive back into center. Let your hands come to Anjali now. Nice and close to your chest. And just resting into Tadasana, your mountain, for a few breaths. Closing down the eyes if balance allows. And just observing how you are. Beautiful. One more deep breath in and out here. Good. Release, relax, and let that go. So we're just going to soften the knees now here. Take a few steps back towards the back edge of your mat. Using this space now to step forward into our downward dog. So we're going to step right knee and foot forward. Bend into that knee. Allow the hands to travel down to the floor, relaxing neck and head here. Step the right foot back and adjust the feet for about hip distance apart, but pivot the balls of the feet a little further back behind you for length. Splaying out through the fingers and then gripping down through the pads of fingers, heels of hands, and send that energy and length back through the side body. Guide that down your lovely legs into your heels. And imagine breathing here into your calves. With every breath, feeling that beautiful expansion and release down through the legs. And just enjoy how wonderful it is to have both hands and feet grounded to the floor and supporting you. That complete balance. On your next breath out here, just bending the knees down to the ground. And as they do touch, you can walk them a little further forward to the hands. Guide your hips over to one side and simply sweep your feet through. So as we start to wind down a little bit more, particularly from our standing balancings, I wanted to guide you into our boat position. Now, Navasana or boat can be conducted in many different ways. Today we're going to apply a little bit of movement in and of course conscious breathing, so to keep you nice and calm. Always, as usual, working in stages in and out. So this ultimately at the end is going to glide us down to the floor where we can just truly release and let go. So approaching here from bent knee position, you're going to slide your hands underneath your knees and really hook them in. Guide the elbows towards the side body so that you can lengthen up nice and tall. A little rock and roll on your sitting bones just to remove the fleshy part of the buttocks away, and then start to step your feet a little closer in. Now as soon as you do that, let your toes rise up into the air so that you're balancing on your heels. You want to get really used to here switching on your core enough that the feet start to feel light. So if they feel really heavy and you feel like you have to sort of jolt to lift up your feet, keep it here and keep the work on switching the core on and supporting your posture. So supporting that length up through the spine and breathing with that. That can be quite intense on its own. If all is good here, let the right foot hover, a seamless hover, and then just see if the left foot can join it. So if you are starting to sort of jolt and catch, that's an indicator to come back a little bit and find that stage where you are feeling that you're working strongly, but you are still movable and breathable, which means you can of course breathe and breathe freely. If this is okay, raise the right foot up to the height or close to the height of your right knee and just see how that feels. And if anything changes in your foundation. See if left foot can join. Again, breathing, tuning in, the intensity building. Right arm, see if it can come away but the leg remains working in the same way that you just had it. Might be getting a little shaky. Left arm. And then here, applying some really slow, purposeful cycle movements. Again, engaging from the core, breathing. So ultimately extending and then bending through both sides. Arms, I tend to get my arms to move as well. A few times in this direction and then unravel. So work it in the opposite way, bringing that sense of grace alongside the strength. Keep the facial muscles relaxed. One more fluid movement on both sides. Draw in again. See if you can gain that extra lift. Breathe. And then slow and control as you lower down through the heels. Step them further away from you. Be a little more center of your mat so that you can then just guide the chin to the chest and ease yourself on down. Relax back through your neck and head. If there's any pain along your back at all here, let your feet pivot wider apart so that your knees can relax in. But otherwise, lengthen your legs here one by one out along the floor. Hands resting upon your belly or just to the floor beside you. Closing down through the eyes. Making any lasting adjustments here for your comfort. And simply giving yourself time now to just let go. And your body breathing in. Your body breathing out. Letting any lasting tension just melt away down towards the floor. And really enjoy the time just to simply relax. If your mind begins to wander a little here, just applying a very simple mantra, simple saying to yourself of in and out. And as you breathe in, just say to yourself the word in. Let it elongate for the time of breath in. And then as you breathe out, just say to yourself the word out. And again, let that elongate for the time of breath out. And your body breathing in. And your body breathing out. In, out. And please feel free to remain here for as long as you need to.